world, Peruvian cuisine is the new black, with great seafood from its long coastline, ancient recipes from across the Andes, and influences from the Africans, Incas, Spanish, Chinese and Japanese. Welcome to the wonderful culinary fusion of Peruvian food. Join our food safari for a fragrant ground oven feast from the Andes. The freshest seafood dish inspired by Japanese immigrants. The delicious bread of the Incas served in corn husks. The world's best chips made with cassava and served with a creamy chili sauce. And a luxurious indulgence called Sigh of a Woman.
Yum.
Peruvian food it's everything for us. It's a trip, it's a journey through history, through flavors, through aromas. It's an explosion of new flavors as well. That's why it's considered one of the best cuisines in the world.
Chef Alejandro Saravia worked around the world before settling in Australia, determined to pursue his dream of introducing the flavours and ingredients of his Peruvian homeland to food lovers. His restaurant Morena in Sydney serving his modern take on the food of Peru. Alejandro, in a Peruvian pantry, what are essential ingredients?
Well, for sure, the first one and the most important one will be all the different ajíes.
Chilies, right?
Ají, it's chili in Peru. Here we got fresh ají amarillo. And the aroma and the taste that these ajíes have. They have quite a citrus flavor.
They do, don't they?
And a citrus aroma. Comparison to the ají panca, which is more like a roasted chili, more Andean.
Yeah.
It's earthy flavor, really roasted, but it's not hot at all. The same, we have ají mirasol, which is a blend between ají amarillo and ají panca. It's in the middle. Quinoa.
Okay, wonderful.
Or quinoa.
Yeah.
Here.
So how do you say it properly?
Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah, quinoa. Quinoa is an Andean grain. It has this nut flavor, not intense but light, which is well combined with vegetables or meat, and also is really easy to digest. Now, Maeve, I have to show you, huacatay is the king of herbs.
And it's got black mint written on it. Is it a mint flavour?
It has a really, really strong flavor. I will compare it more like a mix between mint and Thai basil.
So to call to you in the market, you'd always know where it was.
Exactly, yeah. It's like breaking branches of basil and mint together, and you will find this aroma in the market.
How amazing.
Another main ingredient will be corn. Purple corn, mote, which is this massive corn, and red corn. And here we have corn chulpi. It's a small corn. This is the smallest corn that we can get. But the advantage of this one, it has this intense hay flavor in it.
Hay? So it's not sweet like the yellow corn we know?
It's not sweet at all.
Ah.
Peruvian corns are not sweet.
In Peru, corn is both an accompaniment and centre stage. Steamed on the cob, it's eaten as part of a meal. The giant dried kernels known as cancha are a snack as well as an essential element of the marinated raw fish ceviche. Corn is also the key ingredient of humitas, known as the bread of the Incas.
Humitas it's like it's a corn meal that is cooked in the husks of the corn.
Carmen Almenara is a passionate ambassador for her Peruvian homeland. Her business, Tejas del Sola, recreates the exceptional caramel or mana blanco she remembers from her childhood, which she enrobes with chocolate. When Peruvian friends come over, the women all enjoy wrapping humitas with a pisco sour to fuel the work and conversation. The humitas mix starts with corn kernels cut from the cob, which Carmen blends with a couple of garlic cloves and a little evaporated milk.
That's beautiful. It is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, look at it. but it is very liquid.
Oh, so that's why you need the cornmeal
So
to
that's what
firm
we
it
need.
up.
Yeah. See, look at that. That's what we want.
That firms up really quickly, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
So this is called a little bit of lard, is it?
This is a very little bit of lard, ma'am.
Really, in Peruvian terms, we're actually going light, are we?
This is very light, yep.
Carmen cooks finely diced red onion in the lard and adds 2 teaspoons of cumin and some pureed chili.
I didn't have an ají amarillo, which is what we normally would use, so we use one of those today, yep.
Then salt and pepper.
Season.
Chopped coriander is added to the corn, which is then mixed with the onion and chili.
So then we add the cheese.
What sort of cheese?
So this is goat's cheese, feta. Just give it a good stir. The next step is like we drop them in the corn husks, and then we just steam them for about 20 minutes, and they're ready to be enjoyed.
Oh, great. And so putting them into the corn husks, that's quite a tradition, isn't it?
It is. It's just absolutely lovely, and for this you need your circle of friends, your girlfriends. Excuse me, they all have to be perfectly that size.
In Peru, with one of the world's great mountain ranges forming a ridge through the country, there's a need for cold weather food to warm and sustain people. Nothing works so well as carbohydrates. Here, the potato reigns supreme. Chef Jorge Chacon from Borderland Restaurant on Sydney's North Shore has been in Australia for 20 years and hasn't lost his yearning for the thousands of varieties of potatoes from Peru.
Usually, when you balance a dish, you need a carbohydrate, you need a protein, and you need a vegetable. In Peru, we go completely different. You might need a carbohydrate, another carbohydrate, maybe a protein. So we balance more like flavors, we balance more textures. Obviously, the most important is the potato, and we have more than 2,000 varieties of potatoes. You can find some frozen potatoes. In this case, the variety is the yellow potato, and the very, very, very starchy, very dry. This is the regular papa seca. You can see the little grains of potato has been freeze-dried already, and you have the yellow papa seca. All these products from Peru. Earthy flavors, and plus we cook it with pork and chicken, so it absorbs some of the flavors because it has a lot of starch. Cassava, which is something we're very proud of.
So this is also a tuber, isn't it?
It's a tuber, it's a relative of the potato, sweet potatoes as well. So what we do with this one, oil it, and you drain it, then we portion it, and get the oil hot, and deep fry it. The best chips in the world. It has a lower water content. Okay, this is about 60%, the potato has about 75%. So that's why the chips become more crispier, and on the inside, very, very soft.
Jorge says the best combination is cassava chips with a creamy chili sauce called huancaína, which uses 2 types of chilies, a long yellow chili for colour and a couple of small bird's-eye chilies for heat. He removes the seeds and cooks these with diced red onion and garlic. Then blends to a smooth consistency, adding crumbled feta and a dash of evaporated milk. And a secret ingredient.
Very, very Australian.
I'm assuming gives you a body to it.
Gives body and balances the flavors as well, very nice.
Do you have sayos in Peru?
Now we have something similar, yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, something similar, yeah. It's not an Australian icon, no.
Oh my God. That is fantastic.
Second opinion.
Oh. In the 19th century, Chinese settlers came to Peru to work as contract labourers and on plantations. They brought their woks, ginger and soy sauce, and their recipes wove their way into popular cuisine. One dish that blends the best of Chinese methods with Peruvian ingredients is lomo saltado, a smoky stir-fry of beef over high flame using soy sauce and coriander, but instead of adding Chinese vegetables, Cook substituted potato chips, and a new dish was born.
Basically, saltado means sautéing.
So it's the smoky flavour you're after?
Well, for the lomo saltado, this is the most important ingredient.
Jorge starts by cooking slices of lean steak in vegetable oil in an intensely hot wok.
Careful.
Whoa! So you want that flame?
You need a flame. You need
the flame.
Yes, you need a flame. Onion. A bit of tomatoes, a little bit of yellow chili, some of your regular chilies, a little bit of the garlic, flame.
That's
A little bit more salt, a little bit of the coriander at this point, soy sauce and vinegar, and a little bit of our stock. That's a beef stock.
Smells delicious.
Fantastic.
Oh, you put the chips in
Chips
it?
go in there.
I have never seen chips in a stir fry.
You will have to taste this. Fantastic.
Extraordinary.
Let's go for it.
Oh, this meat looks so tender. Oh,
Bit of chips.
it's smoky.
This is fantastic. Yeah.
They are fantastic. I
Great
love it.
creation. Very simple, very quick to make.
I love this combination. Many countries have an alcoholic spirit that's close to the hearts of their people. In Peru, the spirit is pisco, distilled from grapes brought by the Spanish in the 16th century. And the Peruvians don't just love their pisco, they adore it.
I can't think of anything more that will inspire the passions of Peruvians than a pisco.
Really?
It is incredibly amazing how much Peruvians feel in their hearts about what pisco is.
Luis Almenara left Peru 40 years ago to start a life in Australia with his wife Carmen. They missed pisco so much he went about getting a license to import it.
3 parts of this and use 250 ml. 1/3 of lime juice. Put the sugar.
How much sugar are you putting in, Luis?
A whole scoop. The 1 egg white.
And you give it a little bit more alcohol too.
just
So
to
all
ma-
this measuring, you don't need to measure
Just
like
to
that.
be sure, to be sure. And there we have. Now to finish off, the thing that sticks in your lips is the bitters with the froth. And that is the most beautiful flavor you can have because you know what's coming.
Spoken by a lover of pisco.
You know what's coming after that. Salud.
Salud. Thank you. The Peruvians love their seafood, and there's a lot of it. Along 2,000 kilometres of coast, there's over 700 different types of fish, 400 types of shellfish. One of the richest fishing grounds in the world. Literally seafood heaven.
Peruvians adore cooking with fish large and small, from tuna and swordfish to grouper and sea bass. There are abundant lobster and crabs, oysters, prawns, mussels and scallops. All seafood that chef Danny Pereño grew up with in Peru, and recipes he honed working as a chef in high-end restaurants in North America and London, before moving to Australia and opening his own restaurant.
So why is there so much seafood in Peru?
Well, there is a current in Peru, which is the Humboldt current. It's a cold current that runs through it, which it creates an abundance of nutrients and minerals and plankton. So therefore, you have a lot of fish, definitely like a mass feeding ground.
The national dish, ceviche, is something Danny mastered early in his career.
The essential ingredient for a good ceviche, it's lime, chili, and coriander. Those 3 elements kind of determine how good your ceviche is going to be as the flavour.
And it's fresh raw fish.
It is fresh raw fish.
and with the right balance of your salt and your lime and your chili, it will create the perfect dish.
Seafood was hugely popular with the Japanese immigrants who arrived in Peru in the first half of the 20th century, who came to alleviate overcrowding at home. They brought with them a new way of preparing seafood using raw fish, the sashimi style that's the basis of a delicious Peruvian seafood dish called tiradito, a close cousin of ceviche.
Danny, what is tiradito and how does it show the Japanese influence in Peruvian food?
Back in the days, families from Japan trying to kind of make their own sashimi-style seafood dishes, and then what they discovered that they could use little local ingredients, and with that became tiradito, which it means to throw or to place. One of the most important things for this dish is that the seafood has to be as fresh as possible.
And what sort of fish do you like to use for it?
I like kingfish. So basically what you want is a nice and thin slices. It depends on the fish that you guys use. If you're using a snapper, you can actually, go a little bit thicker than this. I've got some beautiful Harvey Bay scallops. Go straight through the middle and then just cut butterfly style. For the sauce, I blanched about 500 grams of prawns, 200 mils of lime juice. Now to that, we're just going to grab a little bit of olive oil.
So tell me, it's a trickle?
Once you get that almost like a mayonnaise line, that's perfect.
So you can't have a tiradito without a chili?
Your Peruvian chili, that's right. It's just as good as fresh chili. A little bit of salt. Again, you can adjust this. Might need a little bit more lime. And that's your yellow.
That's a really easy recipe.
Very easy, extremely easy. Okay.
Look at that wild colour.
And just pour it on just evenly. So now what I usually do, I'll finish it off with a nice roasted sesame oil. And then just that will give you that round flavour at the end. I've got some beautiful baby coriander.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. There are varieties of meat that are particular to Peru. This is a cuisine that goes back to the days of the Incas. So while sheep and goats have been introduced, the most popular meats are unusual to most of us: guinea pig and alpaca.
Alpaca was introduced to Australia in the late 20th century as a source of beautiful soft wool, and more recently is also being farmed for its meat. Not available commercially yet, but sought after by chefs like Alejandro Saravia, who was delighted a meat from Peru was available to cook for his customers.
Alpaca, it's our cow. Really delicate, gamey flavor, really enjoyable for somebody that doesn't like lamb. It's a really good option. We will put these chilies to create our guantilla paste, which is going to cover the whole shoulder. 3 panca chilies, 3 mirasol, 1 onion, 2 garlic cloves, and then that's around 500 mils of olive oil. Slice your onions and potatoes in this case, and that will not allow the meat to get dry. We're gonna cover the whole shoulder with our paste, a thick layer.
That is going to be just delicious.
It's really flavory.
Yeah.
Look, this is a really, really good recipe for winter. Okay, and then we make sure that our oven it's at 180 degrees, 5 hours.
The alpaca is served with quinoa, a mix of black and red grains cooked separately from the golden quinoa in pots of boiling water. It's strained and spread out to dry, while Alejandro sautés diced yellow capsicum and finely diced shallots. These are added to the quinoa along with finely chopped parsley and coriander, chopped chives, pepper, salt and olive oil.
So our alpaca shoulders should be
Oh, wow.
ready.
That's a cooking smell to make you weak at the knees. Look at that.
And you still have that pinkish kind of color in the flesh. We can use our potatoes as well.
Oh, look at that syrup. That's amazing. It's really tender. It's meltingly tender for something with no fat in it. It is really wonderful.
I'm really
Thank you
glad.
so much. Yeah,
I'm really glad that you like it.
I do.
Away from the world of restaurants, meat has traditionally been cooked in the ground in Peru, using stones heated over flame. It's called pachamanca, a feast that has a spiritual side to it with the people's connection to the earth.
Normally it's a big party. It involves the whole town. They dance, they keep drinking, so it's a party.
Carlos Barriga believes it's important that traditions from home are continued in the backyard of his home in Sydney.
After the harvest, they say thank you to the Pachamama. The Pachamama is the Mother Earth.
Carlos has marinated
So everything
pork,
goes
beef,
inside.
lamb and chicken in a marinade that includes huacatai, garlic, chili paste and apple cider vinegar, adding handfuls of herbs throughout the layers.
It is an amazing amount of herbs.
Yeah. Used to be more potatoes. And if they use meat, used to be the llama. Since the Spanish came, we started using the lamb, pork, chicken, guinea pig, rabbit, all kind of meat. And also the herbs that we have available in the area.
Cooking time is 4 to 5 hours. Time to slow down and catch up with the important things of life.
It's just the leaves and the herbs, isn't it?
The taste is the taste of God.
The taste of God.
That's a Pachamanca plate.
That's falling apart. It's lovely. In Peru, the sweets world is dominated by 3 main ingredients: milk, eggs and sugar. Many of the recipes originating from the convents that were established across the country by Spanish nuns. They were responsible for bringing caramel to the country.
Caramel is better known as manjar blanco in Peru, a rich mix of milk, sugar, glucose and vanilla, which is used in a variety of delicious incarnations. Rosana Spears Cordova fell in love with the world of sweets as a girl and is now following her passion, setting up a company to produce specialist desserts and cakes. Her signature dish has the most poetic name.
Suspiros de limeña, as soft and sweet as the sigh of a woman. In here we're going to be pouring a tin of condensed milk. Very easy to get. Half of a tin of evaporated milk. It's about 15 minutes and it starts to get that lovely creamy consistency. And we'll be ready to add the egg yolks first. Add that very quickly and stir it. So I find that by doing this, it's starting to cook the egg yolks. So what I do is I strain it back into the main mix. 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla essence. And then I'm going to cook it for a further 2 minutes. Just leave it at room temperature while you get on to working on the meringue.
How many egg whites?
4 egg whites.
Rosanna whips the egg whites and boils a cup of sugar with 1/4 cup of port.
And now this is very slow.
and then trickles the fragrant syrup into the stiffly beaten egg whites until they're thick and glossy.
And what we're going to do is just put like snow on top of it. Just take them out of the fridge when you're ready to serve them. Cinnamon, as much or as little as you like. I like cinnamon personally, so. Cheers,
cheers.
with suspiros.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Make sure you get the same amount of caramel and the meringue. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
On our next food safari, the delicious simplicity of Cypriot food, from sensational slow-cooked lamb to food that comes alive with flame, and the wickedest syrup cake they call the good thing.